Hello, I'm David. I'm the Scottish landlord in London. I haven't been here for a while because I've been very busy selling houses and renting them out, and selling and renting flats as well. I wanted to say something about the news in the last few days, which was about changes to the rental market. Now, the fact is, the rental market's in an absolute disaster at the moment. Rents have rocketed. All the policies that this government have brought in over the last few years have contributed to that. They're purportedly trying to help people, and they sound good as a knee-jerk reaction. Yeah, let's bash landlords, let's put these regs on, hammer them with taxes, let's do all this stuff. I'm not looking for sympathy here for me or anyone else, I'm just stating facts. All that does is bring me to mind the thing that I always say, which is being a landlord is voluntary. Being a landlord is voluntary. People can just leave. So you can bash someone over the head and hit them with taxes and regs and everything, and they'll just say, well, do you know what, I've had this flat 20 years, I've had a good run, it's worth 3 times what it was when I bought it, I'll just sell it now. And that's what they're doing in droves. Every time there's an interest rate rise, I get a phone call from 2 or 3 landlords saying, Dave, just sell it now. The other day when this legislation came in, a landlord phoned me up, Dave, just sell this flat now. There's no money in it for anyone. I own a rental flat, I don't make any money from it anymore at all. And so people are just going to get out. So it's an absolute nightmare. Rents are rocketing. I'm having to ask people to leave because landlords are selling. Perfectly decent, hardworking people in nice places they've kept beautifully. The other day I had to say to this lovely family from Ukraine, actually, although they've been here quite a long time, they didn't come after the war. I had to say, I'm so sorry to tell you that the landlord wants to sell the flat. Now, they're paying $1,300 a month for this flat. If they try and find a new one, it's going to be $1,800. So this is the problem. Short hold tenancies were never meant to be the solution to long-term housing. They were meant to be if somebody moved into a new town, or somebody grew up and left university and wanted to take a job somewhere else. You know, they're all going to go now, though. There's no social housing for people, for vulnerable and low-paid people for the long term. In my view, there should be. There just isn't. So all the troubles for this are getting lumped onto private landlords who were never meant to be the solution to this. It's completely bizarre, and as I say, it just harms them. So loads of people are getting out, rents are going to go crazy. If they bring in rent controls, then everybody really will sell up. And there's also a new thing coming in where they're going to demand that every property has a minimum C requirement on EPC. Again, that will just kill it off. So basically, the buy-to-let thing's finishing. If you're looking for a flat in 5 years, I've no idea where you're going to live unless you try and buy one. So it's a terrible problem society has, and I'm afraid the facts are that all the policies that are supposed to help tenants just make it worse in the end. That's my view anyway. Anyway, these things that came in the other day, and pets. Landlords aren't going to be able to say they don't want pets in the property. I actually agree with that. I've always thought that since there are people now who are going to live maybe the rest of their lives in rented accommodation, that it'd be incredibly unfair to say that they can never have a pet. I've always thought that was unfair. As one lady said, my dog doesn't scribble on the walls or pull the wallpaper off. Fair point. So I've always been okay about pets. People have to be allowed to have a pet, I think. So I've got no problem with that one. The no-fault evictions, now they're saying you can ask someone to leave. Basically, that's just stopping people, just evicting people because they don't like them, or they want somebody else, or they want a lot more rent, which could be the case at the moment. But they're saying you have to wait 6 months if you're selling. So if landlords know they have to wait 6 months, I mean, a property is meant to be an asset that you can liquidate anytime you like. I know that way of speaking sounds unkind to some people, but the fact is it is an investment, and again, it's not meant to be the solution to anything. So 6 months, if you've got to wait 6 months before you can sell it, sometimes people might want to sell quicker than that. So that's going to put landlords off. So loads of landlords will leave because of that. You're going to be forced to take people that are on benefits. Again, everyone needs a home. The state should be supplying social housing for people on benefits. No question about that, in my view. But forcing private landlords to do that, what they haven't thought about is that people's buy-to-let mortgages sometimes say that you have to have proper references from people who can show that they can earn the money available. So there's going to be a complication there when it comes to buy-to-let landlords. So the state is going to clash with that, with those lenders actually. It says there'll be quick evictions if people, in return for all this, landlords are being handed that there'll be quick evictions if someone doesn't pay the rent. I can't really see that. I think there'll be loads of laws lining up to have a go at them. So, but the other thing is to give tenants a lot more notice. They were talking about, at the moment, in a normal tenancy agreement, you can give the tenant 2 months' notice to leave. And again, I would agree with lengthening that. I think that's too much. Someone's settled into a property, it's their home, they love it, they've made it nice, and you suddenly get a letter from someone like me saying, I'm so sorry, you've been great, but we need you to leave in 2 months. I don't agree with that anymore. Well, I've never agreed with that. So I think extending that to 4 months is pretty fair. You're asking someone to change their home, come into lots of expense, and have a whole lot of hassle. and it's unfair that that should just be dumped on them at 2 months. So that's part of the legislation I agree with. So I agree with the pets one, and I agree with making the notice period longer for people. But overall, this is just more legislation by a Conservative government that is going to make it worse. And all I can say is that when Labour come in, they seem even more committed to this way of thinking, which again will just lead to even fewer properties for rent. It's a total disaster. I don't know what the solution is, but we're way behind the time. Demand, supply is going down at the same time as demand's not even staying the same, which would be best. So supply is going down, demand is going up. They're way past one another. It's a perfect storm of terribleness for people trying to rent, and I completely sympathise. Rents are through the roof. It's crazy. So anyway, I'll be back shortly with some more thoughts. Excuse the casuals. It's a Saturday afternoon. I've finished work now, and I'm going to go out. So please like and subscribe to this. I'm going to come on and talk about various other things. If you have any comments on rentals or selling, I'm happy to chat. I've been doing this as a job for 17 years, and I've been a landlord for 20 years. So anyway, if you happen to watch this long, thank you so much. I'm Dave, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.